Financially speaking, a sunk cost is dead money. It is capital, time, or emotional energy that has already left the building and cannot be recovered, no matter how hard you pray or how long you wait. But psychologically, sunk costs are very much alive. They haunt us. They are the reason you are holding on to a stock that has dropped 40%, because you keep telling yourself it has to come back. They are the reason your closet is full of clothes you hate but refuse to donate because you paid good money for them.
In behavioral economics, we call this the sunk cost fallacy. It is the tendency to let past spending justify throwing good money after bad.
Today, we are going to learn how to bury the dead so you can save the living parts of your portfolio. I am Alex, and on this channel, we usually talk about how to make money, but today, we need to talk about how to stop losing it. Specifically, we need to address the single most expensive glitch in the human operating system. I have seen smart people, doctors, engineers, even other finance professionals hold on to a losing investment for years, watching it bleed out, simply because selling it would make the loss feel real. It is a fascinating bit of psychology. But it is also a massive drag on your net worth. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to dissect why your brain fights you on this. Look at the math that proves why holding is often worse than folding, and I will give you a specific mental framework to strip the emotion out of your sell decisions. If you like keeping your money instead of setting it on fire, you are in the right place. Before we get into the heavy lifting, I want you to do something for me. Think about one item in your house, or one position in your portfolio that you know is a loser, but you just cannot bring yourself to get rid of it. Hold that in your mind as we go through this. Also, if you appreciate deep dives that respect your intelligence rather than just shouting stock tickers at you, go ahead and subscribe. It is the best return on investment you will get for your time today. Now, let's look at the classic example of sunk costs. That was so disastrous they actually named a fallacy after a supersonic jet. To understand why we struggle with this, we have to look at the Concorde. You remember the supersonic jet? A marvel of engineering that could cross the Atlantic in record time. The British and French governments poured billions into developing it. But here is the catch. Long before the plane ever took its first commercial flight, it became painfully obvious that the project would never be profitable. The fuel costs were too high, the noise regulations were too strict, and the customer base was too small. Rationally, the project should have been scrapped right then. The money already spent was gone, it was sunk. Stopping would have saved billions in future losses. But they didn't stop, they kept funding it for decades. Why? Because politicians and bureaucrats could not admit that the money they had already spent was wasted. This is often called the Concorde fallacy, and it is the textbook definition of throwing good money after bad to save face. Let's break down the math of that decision, because it applies directly to your brokerage account. In economics, a rational decision is based entirely on future value. You look at where you are standing today. Look at your options for tomorrow and pick the one with the best outcome. The path that got you to today is irrelevant data.
It does not matter if you spent $1 or $1 billion to get to your current position. That money is history.
But the sunk cost fallacy tricks us into including the past in the equation. We think that by spending more money or time, we can somehow retroactively validate the past spending. It is like eating a burnt dinner just because you spent an hour cooking it. Eating the burnt food does not get your hour back. It just gives you a stomach ache on top of the wasted time. You are doubling your loss. Now you might be thinking, Alex, I am not the British government. I don't buy supersonic jets. But you do this. We all do. Have you ever sat through a terrible movie just because you paid $20 for the ticket? That is the Concorde fallacy. The $20 is gone, whether you stay or leave. By staying, you are now paying a second cost, your time and your happiness, to justify the first cost. In your portfolio, this looks like holding a stock that is fundamentally broken because you want to get your money's worth. You tell yourself you cannot sell until you break even. But the market does not know what you paid. The stock does not care about your entry price. You are making decisions based on a ghost, a past transaction that has no bearing on the future performance of that asset. If you think that is bad, Wait until you see what happens inside your brain when you actually try to hit the sell button. It turns out we are not just bad at math, we are hardwired to feel pain in a very specific asymmetrical way. There is a concept called loss aversion, and if you do not understand it, it will keep you poor no matter how good your stock picking is. It explains why you will fight to the death to keep a losing position alive, even when deep down you know it is a corpse. Let's look at why your brain treats a paper loss differently than a realized loss, and why that distinction is a dangerous lie. Behavioral economics has taught us that losses loom larger than gains. Losing $100 feels about twice as bad as finding $100 feels good. It is a survival mechanism. In the wild, losing your food meant death, while finding extra food was just a nice bonus. So we are evolved to avoid losses at all costs. When applied to investing, this creates a disaster. When a stock goes down, as long as you hold it, you can tell yourself it is just a paper loss. It is not real yet. There is still hope. The moment you sell, the loss becomes real. You have to admit the money is gone. To avoid that pain, your brain convinces you to hold on, hoping for a miracle rebound. You are prioritizing your emotional comfort over your financial reality. Let's run the numbers on this paper loss idea. This is one of the most dangerous myths in finance. People say you haven't lost money until you sell. That is mathematically false. If you bought a stock for $10,000 and it is now trading at $6,000, that equity is gone. If you needed to liquidate your assets today to pay for an emergency surgery, the market would give you $6,000, not $10,000. Your net worth is calculated mark to market, not mark to fantasy. By refusing to sell, you are not preventing the loss. The loss has already happened. You are just choosing to keep your remaining $6,000 tied to a sinking ship instead of moving it to a vessel that might actually float. You are effectively buying that failing company again every single day you do not sell it. It gets stickier when we bring ego into the mix. The sunk cost fallacy is always stronger when we are personally responsible for the decision. If a robo-advisor picks a loser fund for you, you will probably fire it and move on pretty quickly. But if you picked the stock, if you did the research, told your spouse about it, and bragged to your friends at the barbecue, now selling is not just a financial transaction. It is an admission of incompetence. It attacks your identity as a smart investor. We stay in bad investments to protect our ego. We equate selling with failure and quitting with weakness. But in the world of money, stubbornness is not a virtue. It is a liability. The market is a relentless machine that reprices reality every second. If you are stuck in the past, so how do we fix this specific psychological glitch? We have to change the framing. Instead of viewing a sale as admitting defeat, when you sell a loser, you are not confirming a mistake. You are stopping the bleeding. You are taking control. Think of yourself as a portfolio manager who just took over the account today. You did not make the bad trades in the past, you just inherited this mess. Your only job is to maximize the money that is left. Would a new manager keep that garbage stock just because the previous guy paid too much for it? Absolutely not. They would clear the deck immediately. You need to fire the past you who made the bad buy and hire present you to clean it up. This brings us to the most common lie investors tell themselves. I will just wait until it gets back to my break-even price and then I will sell. Sounds reasonable? It sounds responsible. It is actually completely irrational, and it destroys returns. This is called anchoring, and it is a specific flavor of sunk cost that blinds you to opportunity cost. I am going to show you why waiting for break-even is statistically one of the worst strategies you can employ. We have all been there. You buy a stock at 50, it drops to 30. You swear to yourself, as soon as it hits 50 again, I am out. You have anchored your reality to 50. To you, 50 is the neutral point. But the market does not care about 50. The market does not know you own it. The stock is at 30 because the collective wisdom of millions of investors believes it is worth 30 right now. By waiting for 50, you are betting that this specific stock will outperform the market by 66% from its current level. Why 66%? Because going from 30 to 50 requires a $20 gain on a $30 base. That is a massive rally. Ask yourself, is this damaged company really the most likely candidate to jump 66%? Or are you just wishing for a time machine? This leads to the even more dangerous tactic of averaging down on a loser just to lower your basis. I see this constantly. You buy at 100, it drops to 50. You buy more, so your average cost is 75. You feel clever because now the stock only needs to hit 75 for you to get out alive. But let's look at the math of capital allocation. When you put that second batch of money in, you are making a fresh investment. You are taking fresh cash that could have gone into a high-performing index fund, a bond, or a great company, and you are putting it into a company that has already burned you. Unless the fundamentals have improved, meaning the stock is down for the wrong reasons, you are throwing good money at that after bad. That is not investing, that is vanity. The real cost of holding a loser isn't just the money you lost. It is the money you are not making somewhere else. This is opportunity cost. Every dollar tied up in a stagnating stock is a dollar that… Let's say you hold a dead stock for 3 years, waiting for it to recover. Even if it eventually crawls back to your purchase price, you haven't broken even. You have lost 3 years of compound growth that you would have gotten in the S&P 500. You lost the dividends. You lost the peace of mind. Inflation ate away at the purchasing power of that capital while it sat there doing nothing. When you factor in opportunity cost, breaking even nominal price is… You are paying a premium for the luxury of denial. Here is the rule to fix this. It is called the zero base rule. Look at your portfolio today. Forget the purchase prices. Hide that column in your brokerage app if you have to. Ask yourself this question for every single position. If I had this amount in cash right now, would I buy this stock at this price? If the answer is no, then you should not be holding it. If you have $5,000 in a bad tech stock and you wouldn't buy that stock today with $5,000 cash, sell it. Take the cash and buy what you actually want. The transaction costs are negligible these days. The tax benefits of harvesting a loss might even help you. Align your portfolio with your current conviction, not your past mistakes. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Alex, my portfolio is fine. But I have a storage unit costing me $200 a month, full of stuff I haven't seen since the Obama administration. Sunk cost fallacy isn't just about stocks, it is about the clutter in your life. It is the clothes, the subscriptions, the half-finished projects. We treat physical objects with the same irrational attachment as we do bad stocks, and it drains our monthly cash flow just as effectively. Let's talk about the I might wear it someday tax. Go to your closet. I guarantee there is a jacket, a pair of shoes, or a dress that you haven't worn in 3 years. Maybe it still has the tags on it. You look at it and you feel a pang of guilt. You remember paying $300 for it. You think, no, it is not. It was worth $300 when you bought it. Now it is worth whatever a consignment shop will give you for it, which is probably $20. Or more accurately, its value to you is zero because you are not using it. By keeping it, you are turning your home into a mausoleum for your past purchasing errors. You are paying rent or mortgage interest on the square footage required to store things that make you feel guilty. This applies even more aggressively to subscriptions and memberships. Maybe you paid a hefty initiation fee for a gym you never go to.
You tell yourself, I already paid the sign-up fee, I have to keep the monthly membership, or that sign-up fee was wasted.
This is classic sunk cost logic. The sign-up fee is gone. The only relevant number is the monthly fee you are paying right now to not exercise. If you cancel, you stop the bleeding. If you stay, you are just financing your own guilt. The same goes for streaming services, software licenses, or magazines. We justify the recurring cost because of the initial commitment. But in personal finance, flexibility is an asset. Cutting a sunk cost creates cash flow, and cash flow is freedom. This scales up to massive life decisions, like housing. I have seen people turn down incredible job offers in other cities because they put so much work into their current house. They renovated the kitchen, they planted the garden, they fixed the roof. They feel like leaving now would mean abandoning that investment. This is the endowment effect mixed with sunk cost. You value the house more than the market does because of your sweat equity. But again, the market does not care about how hard you worked on the backsplash. If the new job pays 50% more and improves quality of life, you are letting drywall dictate your career trajectory. The money and sweat you put into the house are sunk. Usually the answer is no. Here is the protocol for your stuff. It is similar to the stock rule. Pick up the item. Ask, if I didn't own this? If the answer is no, sell it or donate it. If you donate it, do not think of it as losing money. Think of it as buying back your space and your mental clarity. When you clear out the sunk costs from your physical environment, you stop getting those little microdoses of guilt every time you open a cupboard. And if you do sell it, Treat that cash as found money. It is a bonus. It is not a reimbursement of the original price. That money is long gone. It is a windfall you can use for something that actually adds value to your life today. We have covered a lot of ground, but it all comes back to one central economic truth. Only future costs and benefits matter. This is the golden rule of rational decision-making. The past is unchangeable data. The future is a set of probabilities that you can influence. Sunk cost fallacy is simply the error of letting the unchangeable past corrupt your influence over the probable future. Whether it is a stock, a business venture, a relationship, on a pair of boots, the moment you realize you are in a hole, the shovel was expensive, sure, but putting it down is free. I want to leave you with a final mental reframe. We often view quitting as a negative. We are taught that quitters never win. In finance, that is absolute nonsense. In finance, the best investors are the best quitters. They quit losing positions fast. They quit bad strategies immediately. They quit emotional decision-making. Quitting a losing path is not failure. It is pivoting. It is gathering new information and acting on it. When you sell a loser, you are not validating a loss. You are validating your intelligence. You are saying, recognize steady? That is the mindset of a wealthy person. The mindset of a poor person is, I hope this comes back. So do the audit. Look at your portfolio. Look at your recurring bills. Look at your garage. Find the things you are keeping just because you already paid for them. Be ruthless. Cut the dead weight. It will hurt for a second. That is the loss aversion kicking in. But 10 minutes later, you will feel lighter. You will have cash. You will have space. And you will have a portfolio that reflects where you are going, not where you have been. Do not let your past hold your future hostage. If you found this helpful, do me a favor. In the comments, tell me one thing, just one. Let's get a little public accountability going. I read the comments and I love seeing people take up in Palace actual action. If you want the action, I'm Alex. This is Alex Talks Money, and I will see you in the next one. Financially speaking, a sunk cost is dead money. It is capital, time, or emotional energy that has already left the building and cannot be recovered, no matter how hard you pray or how long you wait. But psychologically, sunk costs are very much alive. They haunt us. They are the reason you are holding on to a stock that has dropped 40%, because you keep telling yourself it has to come back. They are the reason your closet is full of clothes you hate, but refuse to donate because you paid good money for them. In behavioral economics, we call this the sunk cost fallacy. It is the tendency to let past spending justify throwing good money after bad. Today, we are going to learn how to bury the dead so you can save the living parts of your portfolio. I am Alex, and on this channel, we usually talk about how to make money. But today, we need to talk about how to stop losing it. Specifically, we need to address the single most expensive glitch in the human operating system. I have seen smart people, doctors, engineers, even other finance professionals hold on to a losing investment for years, watching it bleed out simply because selling it would make the loss feel real. It is a fascinating bit of psychology. But it is also a massive drag on your net worth. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to dissect why your brain fights you on this. Look at the math that proves why holding is often worse than folding, and I will give you a specific mental framework to strip the emotion out of your sell decisions.